Good evening. We are going into our next session of optical instruments. In the previous session, we did simple microscope and also the compound microscope. So here, these two formulas we discussed in the previous session. That is, whenever a lens behaves as a simple microscope or just a magnifying lens, then the magnification in terms of focal length will be 1 plus d by f if the image is formed at least distance of distinct vision, where d is 25 centimeter, f is the focal length of the lens. An image, if it is formed at infinity, then magnification is given by d by f, where d is 25 centimeter and f is the focal length of the lens. Now we are going into telescope, where this is a refracting type. That is, we are going to use lenses in the telescope. We have our next topic where we use mirrors. So that's why this is lens. What is happening is refraction, and so what we are learning now is a refracting type of telescope. Here also we have two lenses like we did in the microscope, one called the objective and the other called the eyepiece. So as you look through the telescope, let's say you're viewing a distant star, the lens which is close to the object, the star, is what you call as the objective, and because it has to gather light from the star, the diameter of the lens, the area of the lens, will determine the light collecting power. So if it has a larger diameter, then you know it has a very large area and the light collected will also be larger. So the objective which faces the star or the object that you're looking at has a larger diameter when compared to the eyepiece through which you are looking. So the lens close to the eye, called the eyepiece, in this case will be smaller, and the objective which is facing the star or the planet you're looking at will be having a larger diameter. So we first draw the the objective. This is the objective lens, and the larger one. This is a principal axis. We know that we're looking at some, let's say, distant star. So from the star we have one ray that's coming, let's say, passing through the optic center, and the other ray parallel to this, because you know that when you're looking at objects which are at infinite distance, the rays coming from them will be parallel. So if you've taken two parallel rays and they should meet at the focus, right? So the first image is going to be formed at the focus. Because these rays are parallel, parallel rays entering the lens always meet at the focus. So they are meeting at the focus here. Let me draw it once more. So it is now formed at the focus of the objective, which I call as F4. Now just like we did in microscope, this first image is going to be the object for the second lens. So we have a smaller second lens. This is our second lens, which is called the eyepiece, which is going to be close to your eye here. So one ray passing through the optic center, the other ray parallel to the principal axis. We will now take parallel rays, which means the image can be formed at infinity. So we have taken a case where image is at infinity. So I told you when we did microscope, the image can be seen clearly by your eye. Your eye is here. The image can be seen clearly by the eye if it is at the least distance of distinct vision, or you can take the another position is infinity. Now in microscope we took the final image at D. So for telescope I am showing you how you can get this final image at infinity. So here what happens is, if you want the final image to be at infinity, the object of the eyepiece must be at its focus. So this point here will be the focus of the eyepiece also. So here we have the focus of the eyepiece and the focus of the objective coincide. So because we have taken parallel rays from the distant star, they meet at the focus of the objective, and this first image is going to be the object for the eyepiece. And if you want the final image at infinity, this object of the eyepiece must be at the focus of the eyepiece. So that's why we have this point, both the focus of the objective and the eyepiece. Now, we already know that magnification is, angular magnification is defined as beta by alpha, right? So, angular magnification M we defined as beta by alpha, where beta is the angle subtended by the image at the eye when kept at D, and alpha was the angle subtended by the object at D when kept object at D when object at the eye when kept at D. Sorry. So here you see both the object and the image are at infinity. So we define beta as the angle subtended by the image when formed at infinity, and alpha as the angle subtended by the object when it is at infinity. So here if I want beta, I may take this triangle here. This is going to be beta because this is the angle subtended by the image at the eye when it is formed at infinity. So the angle subtended by the image at the eye is what we have as beta. So beta, tan beta will be, opposite side is h dash, and this adjacent side will be Fe. From here till here is the focal length of the eyepiece. So this will be h dash by Fe. Alpha we know is the angle subtended by the object at the eye. So from the object, if I take to the eye, I need to draw another parallel ray, right? So this is the dotted line I am drawing to the eye. This angle is going to be alpha because it is the angle subtended by the object at the eye. Now this angle and this angle will be the same, right? Because they are corresponding angles. So you need not actually draw this extended line. You may simply remember that these two angles will be the same. So I'm going to call this as alpha because that is the angle subtended by the object at the eye when the object is at infinity. So if this is alpha, we know this is also alpha. So from this small triangle here, tan alpha will be opposite side, that is h dash by adjacent side, which is from the optic center to the focal length of the objective. So I may write this as h dash by Fo, or magnification will now be h dash by Fe into Fo by h dash, which is Fo by Fe, where this is magnification of a telescope, Fo by Fe, where Fo is the focal length of the objective, Fe is the focal length of the eyepiece. Okay, now here between this lens and this lens, we call it as the length of the telescope tube, right? So from here to here is the focal length of objective. From here till here it is a focal length of eyepiece. So that means Fo plus Fe will be the, so we know this distance is Fo plus this distance is Fe will give you the length of the telescope tube. Fo plus Fe will be the length of the telescope tube. Okay. So this is all you need to know in refracting type of telescope. Now the problem with this kind of telescope is, first of all, you will see that this lens has to be a huge spherical lens, because I told you this objective lens has to be large so that it has large light collecting power. But when you're making lenses, if it's too huge, it has to be thicker at the center, and it's very bulky and not easy to carry around, and more expensive to support it and make it. It's more expensive, and because it's expensive and bulky, we would like to do away with lenses. We have the next type of lens which is using mirrors, called the reflecting type of telescope. Another reason why we are replacing these lenses with mirrors is because we have something called as the spherical aberration and the chromatic aberration. We'll just quickly tell you what is chromatic aberration. Okay, this chromatic aberration means, see, when I taught you lens formula, 1 by f is equal to n21 minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. Remember, so I said this 1 by f is proportional to the refractive index. So when you look at light falling on the lens, white light has different colors. It has 7 different colors. So when for the 7 different colors, that is VIBGYOR, for VIBGYOR, you know that the refractive index is minimum for red, and the refractive index is maximum for violet. So when white light is collected by the lens that we have as the uh, objective lens of the telescope, as it comes from infinity, they are all together forming the image at the focus, I said. They are all supposed to meet at the focus together. But because of this, you see that the refractive index determines the focal length. So for different colors, the focal length is going to be different, which means all those different colors do not come to meet at the same point. They meet at different points. Because this is inversely proportional, this color violet with maximum refractive index will have least focal length. So this will be violet, and red with minimum refractive index will have maximum focal length. So red will be at some other further away from the lens. So you'll see all those light rays do not come to form at the same point, and because of which we have a blurred image. So that's the problem of the lens. So if you're replacing the lens with a mirror, you don't have this chromatic aberration. Chromatic means color. This fault arising because of different colors of light having different focal length in a lens. Then we have what is called as the spherical aberration. Instead of chromatic, we also have spherical aberration in this case, where as the light passes through the lens, you will see that because it's spherical in nature, the rays of light that are close to the principal axis, close to the center of the lens, will come to focus at a different point compared to the rays of light that are towards the edge. So these rays do not meet at the same point where the rays at the rim will meet, and because of that, again, we'll have rays meeting at different points, causing a blurred image and not a sharp image. So if you use instead of lenses, if you use mirrors, you can do away with the chromatic aberration and the spherical aberration, and also you see that mirrors are lighter, not so bulky, so it's easier to carry it around. So this is the reflecting type of telescope. Reflecting type. It's called the Cassegrain telescope. Cassegrain telescope. Okay. Here we have large mirror, a concave mirror. Here we have the eyepiece here. This will be the eyepiece, and you'll be looking here from here. Okay, and we have this large concave mirror. Rays which are coming from infinity, from some distant star, which are parallel rays, will fall on this concave mirror. Then we have a second mirror here, which is a convex mirror. So these rays are reflected on to this convex mirror. From here they are reflected into the eyepiece, and you can see your final image through the eyepiece. So these are the parallel rays that come from the object. Okay, this is called the large convex mirror is called the objective mirror. And this convex mirror that we have is called the secondary mirror. You don't have any derivations, you only need to know the ray diagram. Also know its advantages. Its advantages are that being mirror, it is lighter than lens, so easier to carry around, less expensive. Then it does not have these aberrations that we mentioned that a lens would have. So these are the 4 optical instruments that you need to know. In the previous session, we covered simple microscope and compound microscope. And today in this session we did refracting and reflecting type of telescope. Thank you.